Hello, everyone, and welcome to Quiz and Hers, the podcast where we test each other's knowledge and the strength of our relationship. I'm Hallie, and I will be asking the questions today, and I'm here with my fiancé, Justin, who will be attempting to answer them.
That's the plan.
I will be asking him 6 questions from different categories, which are history, geography, science, sports and games, arts and literature, and sounds and screen, which is music, TV, and movies. Currently, the score is 10-7. I am winning, but Justin gets the last licks.
Yes.
So we'll see if he can catch up to me or not. Ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm calling today's theme Winner, Winner, Chicken Dinner.
Okay.
Because all the questions are about cards and card games.
Okay. Card games.
See what I did there?
Yes.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Okay.
Question 1, science. This is a bit of a stretch, but it's okay. In the official deck of science playing cards, it's on Kickstarter, it's a thing.
Okay.
One of the queens is represented by which English mathematician and writer who is mainly known for her work on Babbage's analytical engine?
It's got to be Ada Lovelace.
It is Ada Lovelace.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be fun. She's such a badass.
Yeah, she really is. All right, but I didn't know most of these things about her, so you'll see.
Okay.
It's interesting. So she was born Augusta Ada King Noel, Countess of Lovelace, in January 1816. She was the only legitimate child of the poet Lord Byron. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Her dad was Lord Byron.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But, this is probably why you don't know this, when she was 1 month old, her parents separated and her father sent her and her mother away.
Classy.
Yeah, and Byron never saw Ada again, and he died in the Greek War of Independence when Ada was just 8 years old. She didn't even see a portrait of him until her 20th birthday.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, even though she didn't know him at all, she was his only legitimate child, through marriage.
Yeah, okay.
Unfortunately, she didn't really have a close relationship with her mother either. Her mother often left her with her own mother, Ada's grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she faked letters of concern asking about Ada to keep up appearances. So
What?
she would go away and then write letters to her mother who was taking care of Ada.
Yeah.
Asking about Ada to pretend that she cared. Because basically at the time there were laws about this and she didn't want to lose custody and get in trouble. So she would pretend that she cared how Ada was doing.
How do we know that those letters were not sincere?
I think because she told Ada and told her mother. They knew.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and apparently in one letter she referred to Ada as it.
Yeesh.
Yeah, horrible.
Oy.
However, she did promote Ada's interest in mathematics and logic because she thought it would keep her from becoming insane like her father Byron.
Okay.
Yeah. Ada's first project at age 12 was to build wings so she could fly. And she did extensive research for the project and even wrote a book called Flyology to illustrate her findings.
Awesome.
Which is so cute for a 12-year-old. She really put in the effort.
Yeah.
Throughout her childhood, Ada was often sick. She got measles at age 13 and became paralyzed. And it took about 2 years until she was able to walk again with crutches. While she was sick, she was privately tutored in math and science by William Friend, William King, and Mary Somerville. Later on, she was tutored by the mathematician and logician Augustus de Morgan. When she was 17 years old, her tutor Mary Somerville introduced her to Charles Babbage, who was a mathematician, philosopher, inventor, and mechanical engineer. Later that month...
This is back when you could be 7
everything.
things professionally.
Yeah, he was very talented.
Yeah.
So later that same month, Babbage invited Ada to come see the prototype for his difference engine. Babbage was very impressed by her and called her, quote, the enchantress of number.
Okay.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, that's awesome.
About 9 years later, after they had been working together this whole time, she translated the Italian mathematician Luigi Manabrea's article on the analytical engine, which was also one of their things that they had been working on.
Yeah, it was Babbage's idea for the successor to the difference engine.
Exactly.
Even though he'd never actually even finished the difference engine.
Right. Ada added her own notes to this article and made the article 3 times longer than it was. and also included a method for calculating a sequence of Bernoulli numbers using the analytical engine. Because of her work on this, she is now considered the world's first computer programmer, and this method is considered the first computer program ever written.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So a little bit about her personal life. In 1835, she married William King, not the same William King that was her tutor.
Okay.
Different William King.
Okay.
I guess it was a popular name back then. Ada was a descendant of Baron Lovelace, who represented Berkshire, Abingdon, and Windsor in Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
William King became Earl of Lovelace, and Ada became the Countess of Lovelace in 1838. In the 1840s, Ada was involved in many scandals, including her relationships with men who were not her husband and her love of gambling.
Awesome.
So it all comes back to the gambling thing.
Right, yeah, nice.
You know. At the age of 36, Ada died of uterine cancer, so she was pretty young.
Jeez.
While she was ill, her mother excluded all of her friends and confidants from seeing her, because her mom was a bitch.
Right.
A couple months before she died, she confessed something to her husband on her deathbed, and he abandoned her and never came back. We
Whoa.
don't know what she said to him,
Jeez.
but we can guess it was something about her extramarital exploits. I don't
Right.
really know.
Jeez.
But it's just kind of crazy. That was
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
Yeah. Just a couple of extra facts, fun facts. The United States Department of Defense created a computer language in 1980, which they named Ada after her.
Yep.
And the British Computer Society awards the Lovelace Medal in an annual competition for women students. There is also a college named after her in London, which is focused on digital skills.
Cool.
Yep. Ready for question 2?
Yep.
All right. Sounds and screens. Which song about playing cards was recorded over 3 times by different artists, including Johnny Cash, before finally gaining popularity when it was recorded by Kenny Rogers?
Oh.
Disclaimer, you must know the name of the song. Singing it does not count. Just so we're clear.
Yeah, shit. I think I only know the one line from it. Know when to hold 'em. Know when to fold 'em.
I told you.
None of these
Disclaimer, you must know the name of the song.
Then I guess I don't know the name of the song.
Take a guess.
Texas Hold'em?
No.
I don't know.
It's called The Gambler.
Oh, okay.
Did you know?
No.
I guess not. For anyone who's wondering, it's know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. I'll stop singing, but you can look it up. It's very catchy, and it's been stuck in my head for weeks
So bad.
since I wrote this question.
So bad. I hate that song.
I like it. Anyway, the song was written by Don Schlitz in August 1976 when he was 23 years old. It tells the story of a late-night meeting on a train between the narrator and a man called the Gambler. The Gambler offers him advice in exchange for the last sip of his whiskey. And then the chorus, which I was just singing, is the advice.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can look it up if you're wondering.
Or don't.
Or don't, it's fine. After a couple of years of shopping the song around Nashville, Bobby Bare was convinced by Shel Silverstein to record it on his album Bare. Yes.
Not that Shel Silverstein.
Yes, that is the same Shel Silverstein who wrote The Giving Tree.
What?
Did you know that he wrote many songs himself, including A Boy Named Sue, sung by Johnny Cash?
Oh, I think I have heard that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was also in the songwriting biz.
Okay.
He wrote a few songs for Bobby Bare, and they were good friends. But Bare's version of this song never gained popularity and was never released as a single, so Schlitz decided to record it himself. This version failed to chart higher than number 65, but a few other artists noticed it, and then in 1978, Johnny Cash recorded it for his album Gone Girl.
Huh.
Kenny Rogers released his version of the song just 1 month before Cash's Gone Girl album came out.
So he was trying to, scoop Johnny Cash.
I don't really know, if he even knew about that, or if there was any, ill intentions, or it was just a coincidence. At this time, Kenny Rogers was just 2 years into being a solo artist since leaving his band, The First Edition, in 1976. He had had a major hit with the single Lucille in 1977, which reached number 1 on the pop charts in 12 countries. I'd listened to it, I'd never heard it, but I guess it was popular at the time. And then his album, The Gambler, came out a year later and went multi-platinum. And the song also made it to number 16 on the pop charts, which was rare at the time for a country song.
Mm-hmm.
He also won the Grammy for Best Male Country Vocal Performance for it in 1980. And as of November 13th, 2013, the digital sales were 798,000 copies.
Wow.
So, pretty popular.
Yeah.
Besides Johnny Cash's version of it on Gone Girl, there have been several other covers of the song, including one by Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Of course.
Of course. In 1979, when Rogers performed this song on The Muppet Show, the gambler was portrayed by Jerry Nelson, who sang most of the gambler's dialogue. And in the middle of the song, the gambler dies, and then his spirit rises and sings back up and dances to the last two choruses.
What?
I don't know. I just thought that was really random and ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just a few more fun facts about it. The United States Football League, which lasted from 1983 to 1985, had a team called the Houston Gamblers. They were named after the song.
Okay.
In a 1993 episode of Pinky and the Brain, for all of you 90s cartoons fans.
Love Pinky and the Brain.
Yep, there was a caricature parody of Kenny Rogers singing it, but the lyrics were changed to be about Go Fish.
That's great.
Yep. And then in 2007, it randomly became the anthem for the England players in the Rugby World Cup. And then at that point, it became a top 40 hit in the UK.
Wow.
In 2007.
Okay.
The most recent thing relating to the song, which I actually remember, is this Geico commercial from 2014.
Yeah, I remember
where
this.
Rogers is playing cards with a group of guys, and then he keeps singing it, and they get really annoyed with him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, ready?
I knew almost none of that, so good. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Question 3. Arts and literature. Although the Joker is the most popular comic book villain associated with a playing card, what other DC villain's skin is made of playing cards that can be wielded as weapons?
Whoa.
And I know you know this somewhere. Because, as I'll tell you later, he was on Arrow.
Yeah, this does sound familiar. Skin is playing cards, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to run through the usual playing card related comic book characters. It's not Gambit, he's Marvel. It's not the Royal Flush Gang, who are DC, but it's not them because that's just their theme.
Yep.
They don't really have any powers, I don't think. Shoot. I should know this. Fucking hell.
You can guess.
Yeah, I don't remember what his name is. I don't know.
Giving up?
Ace.
No.
Yeah, I know.
It's Double Down.
Double Down. Yep, okay.
Yep. So I'll talk a little bit about him.
Okay.
He was created by Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver, and he first appeared in the comic Flash Iron Heights in 2001. He appeared with a new generation of rogues opposing the Flash, and in an interview, Johns said that of all the rogues, he wished he had devoted more time to this character and called him the one that got away. So I guess he just felt like he had potential.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm just going to tell the story of Double Down. Sorry if this is boring to anyone who isn't a fan of comic books, but hopefully it's at least somewhat entertaining.
Okay.
We like comic book stuff, so.
Yeah.
All right, so the story of Double Down starts with Jeremy Tell, who is a con artist and compulsive gambler. During a high-stakes game, he lost all his money and murdered the winner. The murdered man's own deck of cards flies towards Tell, cleaving and bonding to his skin. In the process, most of his skin is burned off and replaced by the cards. After this happens, Tell realizes that he can telekinetically detach the cards, making up his skin, and use them to slice up his enemies or encase them with the cards. At this point, he takes the name Double Down and becomes one of Keystone City's supervillains. He likes to use a lot of gambling puns, like some of the older villains. Looking at you, Mr. Freeze.
Yep.
Of course, in the end, he ends up in Iron Heights Prison, a maximum security correctional facility 3 miles north of Keystone City, which is frequently populated by members of the Flash's Rogues Gallery.
Yep.
While he is there, Murmur, another rogue, releases a virus at the prison. Double Down tries to escape during the mass breakout, but is stopped by Pied Piper and is taken back to solitary confinement. After he escapes prison eventually, he is hired by Penguin to establish a crime ring in Keystone City, but gets stopped by the Flash and Nightwing, who I didn't realize worked together, but that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in the DC universe knows each other, so.
Yeah. And then, like I was saying, he showed up in season 4 of the TV show Arrow. In the show, his backstory was that he got his powers when having playing card tattoos applied to his skin when a particle accelerator exploded in Central City.
That's right. Back when that show was watchable.
Yeah, but I still think that the origin story in the comic book is better. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're both weird.
Well,
but
everything in the Flash Arrow universe had to be connected to that particle accelerator explosion. Like, everyone got their powers from that one event, remember?
Right.
Which is kind of, I don't love that plot device, but
Yeah, they
yeah.
kind of just use it for everything, but they had a perfectly good origin story in the comic
Yeah.
books, and they didn't even use it.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Man, that show's bad now. Anyway.
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch it.
Well,
Maybe it's good again.
it was really bad when we stopped watching it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Let us know if it's still good.
Yeah, tweet in.
All right. Question 4. Sports and games. The most valuable baseball card ever sold was sold for $2.8 million and had which early 1900s Pittsburgh Pirates player on it?
Hannes Wagner.
Yeah. How'd you know? I wouldn't have known.
It's one of those things that comes up a lot. It's the most valuable baseball card in the world is Hannes Wagner.
Yep.
Just always, yeah.
Basically, I'm just going to talk about the history of baseball cards.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So they appeared in the 1860s around the time that baseball became a professional sport. Photography was also gaining popularity around the same time, so baseball clubs would pose for group and individual photos. Some of the individual photos were printed onto small cards, and companies began using them to promote their businesses, even if they were totally unrelated to baseball. They would often print information about their business on the back of the cards. Peck and Snyder, a sporting goods store in New York, used trading cards with baseball teams to advertise their business. These are considered the first baseball cards. Around this time, the cards were used as part of a game, either a regular card game or a simulated baseball game. By early 1886, images of baseball players were often included on cigarette cards for promotion and also because the card helped protect the cigarettes from damage.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so by the start of the 20th century, most baseball cards were produced by confectionery companies and tobacco companies. In 1909, the American Tobacco Company decided to introduce baseball cards into their tobacco products. These lasted for 3 years until the company was dissolved. The card of Honus Wagner that I just discussed was one of those.
Okay.
So it was made by the American Tobacco Company.
Can you imagine what people would say now if tobacco companies were including baseball cards in their products?
No.
Like, baseball cards are clearly targeted towards children.
Yeah.
It's so obvious that that's just a ploy to get kids to smoke.
Yeah, I wonder if back then more adults were into baseball cards back then.
I don't know, maybe.
It's possible. After World War I, very few cards were produced until confectionery companies began again in 1927. In the early 1930s, production soared, starting with the 1932 U.S. Caramel set. The Goudy Gum Company issue is most notable for this era and included most of the early National Baseball Hall of Fame inductees such as Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Most of these cards were bright, hand-colored player photos on the front and biographies of the players on the back. Once World War II began, cards weren't produced again until about 1948. At that time, Topps Gum Company issued their Magic Photos set 4 years before issuing their first traditional card set. In 1952, Topps began to produce large sets of cards. The 1952 set is one of the most sought-after sets by collectors because of how rare their Mickey Mantle rookie card is, even though the 1951 Bowman card was his true rookie card.
Huh.
So it wasn't his true rookie card, but for some reason that one is the one that people want.
Because it was the first major set produced by Topps?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
So Topps and Bowman competed for the next several years, and in 1956, Topps bought out Bowman and was unchallenged for the next 2 decades. So they were like the baseball card peak.
Yep.
In the 1970s, Kellogg's began producing 3D cards in their cereal boxes, and Hostess printed cards on their packages. Although other companies, especially Upper Deck, have competed with Topps, Topps is still the primary producer of baseball cards. Just a fun fact. In 2007, a prankster who worked for Topps inserted a photo of Mickey Mantle into the Yankees dugout on their new Derek Jeter card, as well as one with George W. Bush waving from the stands. So I don't know if that card is going to be a collector's item, but probably.
Sure it will. Yeah, absolutely.
And in 2012, Topps created the Topps Bunt digital trading card app, which has over 2 million users from over 50 countries.
Seems to sort of defeat the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think people still use it as a game.
Okay.
I don't really know how it works.
Interesting.
But I'm guessing there's some sort of game involved.
Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
So you are 2.
Yeah, I have 2 questions.
Of 4.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Question 5. Geography. Dragonara Casino, previously known as Dragonara Palace, was temporarily used as an officers' hospital during World War I and hosted refugees during World War II. It is on this island which became known as the Nurse of the Mediterranean during World War I.
Malta.
Yep. You are correct.
Yes, I know.
Okay. I could tell. You didn't even have to think about it.
The Knights Hospitalier had their base there.
How do you know these things?
I spend a lot of time on Wikipedia.
I noticed. Well, anyway, you're going to hear about Malta, even though if you already know everything. So Malta, officially known as the Republic of Malta, is an archipelago in the Mediterranean Sea. It is about 122 square miles and has a population of about 450,000, making it one of the smallest and most densely populated countries. Its capital, Valletta, is the smallest national capital in the European Union. Although its two official languages are English and Maltese, Maltese is regarded as its national language. Okay. Italian is also spoken by 66% of the population, which makes sense since it's only about 50 miles south of Italy.
Yep.
So Malta became inhabited around 5200 BCE with the arrival of settlers from Sicily. There are several megalithic structures there which date back to 3600 BCE. Megalithic structures are like Stonehenge.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it's like popular for people to go see the megalithic structures there. It's like a popular tourist destination. Seems like a nice place to visit.
Yeah.
So because of its location in the middle of the Mediterranean, it has been used as a naval base. In the past, it has been ruled by the Phoenicians, Carthaginians, Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Arabs, Normans, Sicilians, Spanish, Knights of St. John, French, and finally the British.
Wow.
So everybody wanted Malta.
Yeah. Oh, and it's a strategically important location, I
Exactly.
suppose. So, yeah.
Yep. And Malta became a British colony as part of the Treaty of Paris in 1814 after ousting the French control in 1800. After the opening of the Suez Canal in 1869, Malta's location halfway between Egypt and the Strait of Gibraltar became its main asset, and it became an important stop on the way to India. As I said in the question, it became known as the Nurse of the Mediterranean during World War I due to the large number of wounded soldiers they accommodated. Before World War II, Valletta was the location of the Royal Navy's Mediterranean Fleet's headquarters, which in 1937 was moved to Alexandria, Egypt, out of fear that it was too susceptible to air attacks from Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. So during World War II, Malta was bombarded by the Italian and German air forces. The British used Malta to launch attacks on the Italian Navy. It was also used as a location for intercepting German radio messages. After its participation in World War II, including hosting refugees at Dragonara Palace, which I talked about, King George VI awarded the George Cross to Malta as it was a British colony at the time. There is still a George Cross on Malta's national flag to represent this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so if you look at the flag, that's why there's a little cross in the corner. It's the George Cross.
I never knew what that was.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, this was the only George Cross given to a collective group rather than an individual until 2000, when the Royal Ulster Constabulary received it as well.
Huh.
Do you know what the Royal Ulster Constabulary is?
I know Ulster's in Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it's the police force of Northern Ireland.
Okay.
So in 1964, Malta gained independence from the UK as the state of Malta, with Elizabeth II still being its head of state and queen.
What year, sorry?
1964.
Okay.
In 1974, it became a republic within the Commonwealth with the president as head of state. Since its independence, it has been a member of the Commonwealth of Nations and the United Nations, and it joined the EU in 2004.
Cool.
Yep. And it seems like a great place to visit because I was looking at a lot of photos. It seems beautiful, and they have like the war museums, and now they have this casino, and they have like all the history with the megaliths and stuff.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, question 6. History. According to most historians, playing cards were invented in the 9th century AD during which dynasty in China that lasted from the year 618 to 907 and is regarded as a golden age of cosmopolitan culture?
Shit.
I know, this is hard.
Well, I mean, I've been trying to learn the Chinese dynasties, but I haven't.
I know, I thought I'd help you out.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't gotten very far. Shit. Okay. What years?
618 to 907.
Okay. All right. So, is it the Ming?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
No.
Fuck.
Sorry.
I knew they were later. Fuck. What is it?
It's the Tang Dynasty.
Damn it! That's the other one I was thinking of.
Aw, man.
Fuck. Okay.
All right. You ready to learn about it? It's a pretty crazy story.
All right.
All right. So the Tang Dynasty was founded in the year 618. Also get ready for a lot of difficult names. I'll try to keep everything straight.
Okay.
So it was founded in the year 618 by Li Yuan after the Sui Dynasty's collapse. The Sui dynasty collapsed after Emperor Yang of Sui launched 3 failed campaigns to conquer the northern part of the Korean peninsula in the Goguryeo-Sui War. In 617, Li Yuan occupied Chang'an, the capital, and relegated Emperor Yang to retired emperor and declared himself regent to the puppet child emperor Gong of Sui. In 618, General Yuan Huaj murdered Emperor Yang, and Li Yuan declared himself emperor of the new Tang dynasty.
Okay.
Not sure if he had any part of that, but likely.
Yeah.
So Li Yuan was then known as Emperor Gaozu of Tang and ruled until 626 when he was forcefully deposed by his son Li Shimin. Li Shimin became known as Emperor Taizong and remained emperor for another 23 years until he succumbed to illness. His son Li Ji succeeded him and became Emperor Gaozong of Tang. It's very confusing. A lot of the names are very similar.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready for some craziness?
Yeah.
The crazy ladies of the Tang dynasty, as I call it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I made that up. That's not a real thing.
Okay.
In 655, 6 years into Emperor Gaozong's reign, he married Wu Zixin, a previous concubine of Emperor Taizong.
I know about Wu Zetian.
She's crazy.
She's awesome.
Wu Zetian. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how you say it, but yes.
Okay.
She shows up
It sounds more official, so I'll say it like that.
She's in one of the Civilization games. I think
really?
I think she might be in Civ 5.
Oh, she's crazy. So anyway, in 660, Emperor Gaozong had a stroke and yielded decision-making power to her. She continued to make court decisions for him. In 675, her oldest son began to assert his authority and opposed some of her policies, and then he suddenly died.
Yeah, she probably killed him.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
In 680, the next heir was banished, and then in 683, Emperor Gaozong died and was succeeded by his oldest son, Emperor Zhangzong.
Okay.
After just 6 weeks on the throne, his mother deposed him in favor of his 12-year-old brother, Emperor Ruizong. Yeah. In 690, she proclaimed the Tianshao era of Wu Zhao, which was another name she called herself. This made her the official empress regnant of the second Zhao dynasty, which she named after the ancient Zhao dynasty. And she was actually the only officially recognized empress regnant of China in more than 2 millennia.
Wow. So she was the only, ruling empress of China ever?
Right. The only official one.
Wow. That's very cool.
Yep. 5 years later, there was a coup which forced her to yield her position to her son, Zhangzong.
So what was this declaration she made then?
She proclaimed it the Tianshao era of Wu Zhao.
Okay.
So then the Tang dynasty was restored after her son, Zhangzong, became emperor.
Okay.
It is said that the most important part of her legacy was reducing the power of the Northwest aristocracy, which allowed people from other regions of China to become more represented in Chinese politics and government.
That's cool.
Yeah, so basically, her legacy was that she sucked. Essentially. But I guess in the end, the outcome was good for everybody, so it's okay. So Emperor Zhangzong, who's the one I was just talking about, his wife Empress Wei followed in her mother-in-law's crazy footsteps. After persuading her husband to staff government offices with his sisters and also their daughters, she eventually poisoned him and placed his 15-year-old son on the throne in 710.
Wow.
Yeah, they're nuts.
Jeez.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, Li Longji slew Empress Wei and her faction and installed his father, Emperor Ruizong, to the throne. If you remember, which let's face it, you probably don't after all of these names, Emperor Ruizong was the one who was 12 when his mother, Wu Zetian, placed him on the throne.
Right, okay.
So, he's back.
Okay.
Yeah. And because these men never seemed to learn, Emperor Ruizong was then dominated by his wife, Princess Taiping, but her coup failed in 712, and Emperor Ruizong abdicated to Emperor Xuanzong, his son, who killed the last crazy lady, Empress Wei.
Wow.
It's very confusing.
That's awesome.
So basically it's just a bunch of women being like, I want all the power, and the men are like, no.
That's crazy.
But it's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's cool that they really try. They're not just subservient.
Yeah.
So during the reign of Emperor Xuanzong, the Tang dynasty reached its height. Xuanzong was seen as a progressive and benevolent ruler. He even abolished the death penalty in the year 747, and he tried to staff government ministries fairly with different political factions. Unfortunately, in the middle of the 8th century, the An Lushan rebellion destroyed the prosperity of the empire. An Lushan was a half Sogdian, which is now in Iran, half-Turk Tang commander. He forced retreat at a Tang fortress and Emperor Xuanzang fled Chang'an, the capital. Then An Lushan declared the start of the Yan dynasty. A few years later, a Tang army retook Luoyang, the eastern capital, and the current emperor committed suicide, ending the An Lushan rebellion. So after this, the Tang government relied on governors called Jiedushi for protection. The Jiedushi could maintain their armies, collect taxes, and pass their title on to heirs. The rule of these governors lasted until the end of the Tang dynasty. The last great ambitious ruler of the Tang dynasty was Emperor Shenzong, not to be confused with Xuanzang.
Okay.
Yeah. He had a well-trained army, a monopoly on the salt industry, and was able to quell the rebellious provinces. In 874, the Huang Chao rebellion took an entire decade to suppress. Although the Tang defeated them, they never recovered and were weakened for other military powers to take over. In 907, the Tang dynasty ended when Zhu Wen deposed the last Tang emperor, Emperor Ai, and took the throne himself. Then Zhu Wen deposed Emperor Ai and established his later Liang dynasty, which became one of the five dynasties in Tang Kingdoms period in China.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Sort of throwback to your game before that.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
It seems like a lot of the time periods in China are just named after how many dynasties or kingdoms there were, which is very confusing.
Yeah, so as I was researching my question on the Three Kingdoms period a while back, one thing I didn't include in my discussion was the opening lines of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, not the video game, but the historical text that it is named after, says something like, the empire continually fractures and reforms. Chaos is followed by order. It has always been like this, or something. So there's this sense in even like other ancient Chinese historians that like there were periods of unity followed by periods of faction, and that was just sort of the cyclical nature of government.
Makes it so difficult to learn, though.
I know, there's not just that, but it's like, so thousands of years of history. So yeah, there's a lot there.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting dynasty. Though.
God damn.
Now you know.
Yep. All right.
That's it. How many did you get?
I got 3. We are tied.
Oh,
10-10.
Man.
So that was the 6th game. So there are 4 more games this season.
All right.
2 each. We are tied heading into the home stretch of the season.
I think that says that we're both writing good questions.
Yes.
I'm happy with that.
I should have written something harder than that Vatican City question last week.
Yeah. No backing down.
Shit.
It's okay. There's time.
Yep.
Just don't go super hard. You have to have a balance.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
All right,
everybody. Hope you enjoyed this game. Again, if you'd like to reach out to us, it's quizandhers@gmail.com or @quizandhers on Twitter. All right. Bye. We'll be back once Justin pees and Hallie's computer figures out what the hell's going on. There we go. He's still peeing. Boop, 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 boop.